Hello again, welcome to the Ref Show. You heard it right, it is called the Ref Show, but we've got very little to talk about referees on this show because by common consent the standard of officiating at Euro 2016 has been little short of excellent. So what say first of all, we talk about the teams and the players, and we've got a fresh face and a fresh voice on that subject, though we do see him quite regularly, but he's flown halfway around the world to rejoin us, Carlton Palmer, alongside Keith Hackett. First of all, Carlton, your impressions on the tournament as a whole?
Well, I think it started slow, and that was because of the extra places. I think teams knew that one win and a draw would probably get them to qualify, so they were a bit cagey. But I think it's been good. I think it's been played in the right spirit. Some excellent football. Obviously disappointed about England, but I've got my opinions about that. I think, you know, when I watched the game, I looked at Harry Kane, who's had an excellent season for Spurs. He was out on his feet, and until we get a winter break, I know we've got to look at the Wales situation, and we're saying a lot of those players are you know, playing the Premier League, but it's a different expectation. Wales, when they come out of the tournament, Wales, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, with no disrespect, everybody goes, yeah, they've had a great tournament. England are expected to win the tournament, and we've got to give ourselves a better opportunity because that is a good England side that's gone down there.
It's great that we found somebody who's got some sympathy with the England players, because you're in a minority
I haven't got
there.
much empathy with Roy Hodgson, because I do believe this, right? He's taken players who are not fit. And the problem is when he's tried to rest his team to give these players game time, he should be playing his team. But he's had to do that to give people game time. Germany didn't do that. None of the other top sides have done that. We should not take players who are not 100% fit. And we've let players like Drinkwater, like Noble, who've had excellent seasons, who should have been taken.
Okay, Carlton firing from the hip as ever. Keith, just on a playing point of view, with the referees being lenience is one word, but also in sympathy and spirit with the game in another. They've really let it flow. Should the football have been even better than it has been? Should we have seen a few more goals? I know France racked up 5 against Iceland, but...
Well, I think in a tournament scenario, what you do get is you get teams who have an expectation that they want to progress, but perhaps don't have the skills as a team, and therefore they park the bus and make it very difficult to get round. But I agree with Carlton. I always feel that England, when they go to a tournament, I feel like starting on the back foot, because the teams that they're going to play against do have a winter break, do have the opportunity to recover. And we forget that the Premier League is played, we often say at a pace, it is played much quicker than in Europe. I mean, even my own experience, when I used to go as an international referee, sometimes I'd come off a Champions League game or the equivalent and not really having exerted myself a great deal. When you come back to the Premier League, it was huff and puff, a lot of skill, but played at massive pace. And that, obviously, from my days, has increased enormously.
Okay, it's been a football failure for England, even though Carlton has got some sympathy with the players on that score, but not with the manager. But it's been a tremendous success for our referees. Martin Atkinson, as you've pointed out, excelled in 3 games. So did Mark Clattenburg. And in the second part of the Ref Show, we'll talk about Clattenburg's pretty obvious chances of actually refereeing the final. The 2 semi-final referees, Wales-Portugal, Jonas Eriksson, and Nicola Rizzoli has got France v Germany. But before we come to that in part 2, who's going to win it, Carlton, do you think?
Well, you know, I would say you can't look past Germany, can you? They're always your safe bet. But I'll tell you now, I think Wales can beat Portugal. And there's no expectation on Wales, right? And the problem is Portugal will be expected to beat Wales. And that's a dangerous scenario. Same as England with Iceland. When you're not expected to win, you go into the game without no fear. And Wales are in that position now where whatever happens, they're coming on to a hero's welcome. They've over-excelled. I think Portugal are beatable. They can score goals against them. I mean, they're missing a key player. I think Ramsey's had an unbelievable tournament. And I'm really delighted for the kid because a few years back, everybody, you see how people don't look at the bigger picture. Arsene Wenger kept on playing Aaron Ramsey when most other managers would fear for their job and leave him out. But he knew he had to give him his confidence back. Let it get back by getting tackling and whatever. Now he's got his confidence back, and he's back to his very, very best. He's been outstanding. They have got good players, and what they do is they defend well, and that's important in the tournament, because right now you can go as late as you want. You get a free kick from 25, 30 yards. You've got one special player, Gareth Bale.
Yeah, more so than Ronaldo, because he hasn't scored in numerous attempts in major competitions from that range, has he? Which is amazing.
Well, it is amazing, but I still think he's
marvellous,
he's a fantastic. You know, when you use the word great, there is only a few great players, and he's a great player. Let's make no mistake about it. Whether you want to say he's an individual player, whether you want to say whatever you want to say about him, he is a great player.
Does Carlton Palmer, and he usually does he put his money where his mouth is as regards
Yeah, I've had a little
Wales?
cheek. I'm good mates with Cookie, so I've had a little cheeky bet now on the Welsh. I think they'll beat Portugal. I really do. And then the final, it boils down to, you know, they're all good teams, and little things may come down to it. But I think that Wales will beat Portugal. I think they'll beat them 1-0, and I think they could go on to win it on penalties.
Yeah. Portugal have certainly got outstanding individuals, one in particular. Wales have got a team, though, haven't they? Definitely team.
They've got a team and a team spirit, and you've seen the Premier League now this season has been won by a team who has done exactly what Wales are doing now. Sat in deep, defended for their lives, and then counter-attacked. Great, which is what they've done. And Wales have done exactly the same thing. So, you know, team spirit, people forget about that. If you look at Man City, great team, but no team spirit. What's Guardiola said? The first thing he said, I need to get some spirit in this camp. Once you've got that spirit, you can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not overlook the fact that the goals that Wales have scored have been terrific goals. I mean the turn, the Cruyff turn, and shot on goal. I nearly dropped my coffee. It was just unreal, unexpected.
He nearly drops his Guinness. He doesn't drink. He doesn't drink coffee. A couple of interesting things. We're going to talk about penalty shootouts in the second part, but also Keith Hackett is posing the question here: should we go straight to penalties on 90 minutes? Perhaps there's a very good argument for that. But before we do so, the change of legislation on the taking of penalties, the faltering run is now outlawed, and yet I thought on some shootouts and in some matches that I've seen players almost stop on the approach to taking penalties.
Well, providing that there's movement, and the judgment has been so far that the movement's been acceptable, and those referees that are at this tournament, believe me, have studied the law, and they will apply the law consistently. So I've not seen the actual deliberate stop and then kick, which would be against the law. So in terms of how they run up, it's down to them. They can feint, but they can't stop. So it's got to be that continuous movement.
Yeah, it's a fine line. Is it worth doing all this clever dick stuff, Carlton? Often players miss when they do that kind
I'll
of thing.
tell you what, if you actually, to be fair, stop, you give the keeper a better chance, because you're stopping and you're basically one step and going to kick it. So you're giving the keeper a better chance, right? Unless the keeper gambles.
There's going to be less power on the shot.
Less power on the shot and less elevation on the shot. So, you know, I agree with Keith. From what I've seen so far, there's no been deliberate stop. It's been continuous, and you use the word almost, and that's it.
Did.
So almost is not.
No.
So, you know, as I said, these are little things for me. I mean, that really is not. It's not a talking point for me. I mean, I don't think it's an issue that should be brought up. They should be able to stop if they want to stop, and they should be able to continue if the law's there.
Yeah, I think the importance is preparation, and I think the manager should have a very clear picture as to who's going to be taking those penalty kicks at the end of additional
And
time.
just very briefly, 20 seconds before the end of part one, isn't it great to see the underdogs, Iceland, Wales, do so well, Republic of Ireland, have a great tournament, all of them.
Teams. That's what they are.
That's the secret, isn't it?
Well, in life, it's the secret. Those who
Yeah.
haven't got or are not blessed work harder than those who are blessed.
Okay. Marvellous. Carlton, Keith, thanks very much indeed. The second part, is England going to be in the final after all? Do rejoin us for that. See you in a bit. You accidentally block a defence-splitting pass, so you apologise for your clumsiness. You think the players have accepted it and moved on. But moments later, the midfielder who played the pass suddenly sends you flying with a brutal, accidental body charge. Sorry for being so clumsy, he says. What do you do now?